Alright, y'all. Learning to be. Got a couple topics I want to talk about. I know it's been a while since y'all seen me and everything. And the last thing I did was a response to Tommy Sotomayor. But here's a couple things. And I'm going to get to the meat and potatoes of it. And go in because that's just what I do. Let's talk about this missing plane. This jumbo jet. This plane that had over 200 people on it. 239 people. Goes missing, right? It's been 4 months. Or a little over 4 months. No word on the plane. They done searched the oceans. Nothing. Yeah, so did y'all know there were like 30 of the world's brightest scientists on that plane? And that the plane ain't in the water? Oh, here's my disclaimers. I ain't affiliated with nothing. This is all opinion based. But it does hold merit, so here it is. You have like 30 of the brightest scientists in the world. They're not talking about that. They're just talking about the fact that this plane went missing. Why did it go missing? Who kidnaps? Who hijacks a plane from Malaysia? What is on that plane of significance? Well, 30 of the world's brightest scientists. It's not just a plane that's missing. It's 30 of the world's brightest scientists that are missing. So whatever it is that the hijackers need, they needed those scientists for it. The plane is stripped, so now it can fly under radar without being detected. So don't be surprised if, come December or January, the plane pops up and is doing some more crazy stuff. Because it's off grid. It don't have the black boxes on it no more. It don't have its own radar. They stripped it. They cut it off. So whatever they're doing is something big. And it's something that requires brain power and not brawn. So it's horrible that these families don't know where their family members are and where their loved ones are. But let's be for real, it ain't in the ocean. And a lot of them are probably still alive. That plane was full of scientists. It's something bigger than just a missing plane going on. But hey, I don't know anything. I'm speculating. Then I also wanted to talk about these girls in Nigeria. Nigeria is so resourcefully rich, but it's in political turmoil. It sucks because these girls have parents and they have siblings, and everybody is bring our girls home and save our girls and this, that, and the third. And not to discount or negate or trivialize that, but who's speaking for the 64,000 African American women and children here that have gone missing, that have been reported missing? Because I'm sure there's more. What are we doing about that? Where is the outcry? Where is the outrage? Where is it? Where is it? Where is the I'm lost, have you seen me? Where are the Amber Alerts? Why is nobody concerned about that? Is it because we're still in genocide and it's still a very wide practice? And it's not just with these 64,000 missing human beings, but with the prison systems, which are a for-profit institution, with the ease of access to guns and drugs and violence. Is it because they know that if we kill ourselves and we hurt each other, they don't have to get their hands dirty? So when we go missing, it's no big deal. Oh, we just ran away. What about those who didn't run away? 64,000 women and children. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important that those girls in Nigeria are returned to their families. But they were kidnapped on political stuff. We don't have anything to do with that. us going over there and saying, hey, bring back our girls is not going to do anything. And if we're going to go and say, hey, bring back our girls, why don't we say, hey, bring back our boys who were kidnapped 2 weeks before? And it was about 80 of them. And nobody said anything because they were boys. Where's the fairness? You know, here it's not just women. It's women and children, both male and female. African American women and children. 64,000 of them gone missing. I ain't seen a commercial. I ain't heard nothing on the news about it. But y'all so hell-bound, bent, and determined to go over to Nigeria where they've been fighting with it themselves for the longest and interfere to save these 200 and some odd girls. But y'all ain't doing nothing to save these 64,000 human beings here. And that's just the colored people. That's nothing to do with, you know, other races that's missing. But that's genocide. We lose 64,000 African American women and children. So we're losing the reproducers and the future. There's no outcry. We put more men in prison than there were slaves in the United States. More men of color. Yet there's no outcry. Prison is a $1 billion industry. And these people that own them are billionaires. So we put money in their pockets. We kill ourselves. We play into this whole stereotypical angry black person syndrome. You know, or illiterate black man syndrome. We fall victim to the slave mentality of fast cars, fast women, fast money, fast lives, and living above our means. Where's the outcry there? Like I said, I'm not diminishing anything going on in Nigeria. But I don't live in Nigeria. I live here. And here, there are 64,000 African American women and children who are reported missing. And even more who've never been reported because they don't have family or because the family didn't care. Whatever the case may be, the known number is 64,000. So I'm going to let y'all be concerned with the girls in Africa, with the Nigerian girls. I pray for their families and I pray for their safe return. But even more than that, I want to know what happened to the 64,000 here. I want to know what's it going to take to keep our men out of prisons. I'm raising a young black son. And every day, I see the injustice in doing so here. And I wonder, will he make it? Not because of anything I've done, but because of what's going on around us and the genocide that is so prevalent, yet kept so quiet. What about our future? What about us? What about all these people who've existed and now they're just gone? What about looking for them? What about raising money to bring them home? What about the families who've lost all of their children to gun violence, like the woman in Chicago? 4 kids killed by bullets with no names. What about her? Or what about the family down in Georgia whose son was found rolled up in the gym mat who was beaten to death? And there have been no charges and it's been covered up. What about them? What about him? Where's his voice? Where's the outrage for him? Like y'all are outraged about these girls in Nigeria. Where's the outrage for the boys that were kidnapped the same over there? What about us? What about our children? What about our future? How are we stopping genocide? How are we helping them by being outraged about somewhere else that we have no control over? When are we going to change how we operate? What you going to do? You gonna keep crying and being outraged about those girls over there? Or you gonna step up and do something to change the situation here? 64,000. 200 is a very small percentage of that. 64,000. 64,000. 64,000 African American women and children are reported missing. And yet all y'all care about is the political turmoil that took away 200 and some odd girls from Nigeria. Well, dang. Where does that leave me if I go missing? I join that 64,000 and there's no outcry because it's not political. Or is it? Most genocides have political undertones. And if you know the history of this country, you know it ain't too far from where we are now. Genocide is real. 64,000 real people are really missing. And y'all ain't talking about them. Y'all quiet. Prisons are a for-profit industry. And yet y'all still want to go. And y'all still want to free so-and-so who you know was dead wrong. What about all them? What about the people that are wrongfully in prison and have their lives, their livelihoods, their families taken away? What about them? What about our future? What about these children killing each other? So go ahead. I'm going to keep praying for the girls in Nigeria and for the little boys too and their families. But more importantly, I'm going to keep spreading the word about the 64,000 African American women and children here that are reported missing. Because they're as important as those 200 and some odd Nigerian girls. They're as important as that whole plane full of people that went off the grid. They're as important as all the men that are in prison today. They're as important. So y'all want those numbers? There are more men in prison than there were slaves. But y'all worried about them Nigerian girls. Let's focus on the genocide here. Let's change it. Bring awareness to the fact